thanks for coming on to the Promised Land podcast. So Sean is an intuitive business strategist, transformational coach, and speaker with over 15 years experience helping entrepreneurs create profitable businesses aligned with their core gifts. Originally trained by Tony Robbins with a 30-year background as a spoken word artist, rapper, and stage performer, Sean electrifies audiences in his live and virtual events by bringing a unique blend of training and edutainment. Man, I'm not a spoken word artist. I can barely read this today. Sean has helped thousands of clients in his career, and he's not only shared stage with many of the biggest leaders in the coaching space, he's been their go-to event sales expert as well, helping icons like Brendan Bouchard, Dean Graziosi, Les Brown, Lisa Sasevich, and more generate millions from their live and virtual events. He's the CEO of Rock Your Gift and the founder of the Rock Your Gift 3-day live experience, where Sean takes a stand for change agents everywhere to not settle for modeling others, but instead to innovate their unique message and mark on the world. And Sean, who Sean is for me, is I actually met Sean at A.G. Morishita had an event, and it was a couple years, I think a year or two before COVID, and we met. We're like, hey, I think it was right before COVID, because we met and we're like, hey, we should do each other's events, and then and then COVID hit, and then it put things off, and then we were able to have you come into one of my events and hang out. Sean's just this awesome guy, this real, for me, you're like this super authentic spark of creativity. And I love that you know how to sell, because we're big fans of making sales here. So Sean, welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's great to be back with you, my friend.
Dude, it is so good. We're just catching up on what's been happening. So tell me what you're doing now. How did your live event go?
Yeah, so live event was great, man. There's nothing like bringing people back into a real space and getting on stage and having actual people. I mean, you know, me as an artist, rapper, performer, it's like my whole thing with events has always been built around having a real audience there. So it was a little awkward when I moved to the virtual, because, you know, I'm rapping there in front of the camera and I'm trying to create that energy like there's people in the audience, but doing it back live again was great. I think the thing that I really love about it is the opportunity to create the transformational work. Like, I have a deep background in transformational work. So getting people out of their bodies, getting people out of their heads, you know, when we're in the virtual, you can hope that people are moving. You can hope that people are doing that, but it looks like people are in their bed, you know, they're all like you can't feel like they're actually getting their bodies up and moving. So that's the part of the live experience you can't duplicate. So it was great. I got to perform some new songs and I got to bring on some great speakers. So yeah, we're doing another one in a couple months as well.
Oh, if you got space on the stage that fits, let me know. So dude, we just did one too. We got put on my heart to do one. We were hoping to have 50, wound up having like 24 people there. But it was like, also some God's put on my heart lately is just transformation. The market is moving to transformation. And have you heard Dean Pine's quote that we've moved out of the information economy through the experiential economy, and now we're the transformation economy?
Let's go. I didn't hear that. It looks like it's my time, man. That's perfect.
Dude, it is. And you and I are so aligned. That's why I'm not surprised to hear you say this. So we did it. We really focused on a lot of transformation. I'm actually launching out a personal growth, like year-long program.
Nice.
Let's have you be a part of that. Do a couple classes for us.
I would love to.
And
that's dope.
Dude, that's the way it's going. And what I'm seeing too is people just need, the newbies need just basic sales skills, daily minimum sales behaviors, income generating activities. The more experienced people, I think the more experienced people all get, it's about subconscious programming and sales training. Like, I think they all get that. Which is
my two favorite things.
Right?
I mean, all I keep getting is this feeling like, you know, you got to keep doing the things that light you up, like the things that feel like natural. You know, I think the biggest message for me is when these things don't feel right and I feel like I'm fitting myself into a box, but I got to stop assuming that people need that from me and realize that the things that people need from me are the things that I am here to give most. And those two things you just mentioned, like sales and transformation, like those are the things that come so easily. I feel like I'm in flow. I know that I'm making a difference. And so I just keep getting this like message. It's like, Sean, just double down on those things. Stop trying to be all things to everybody. Stop trying to be the all one shops, you know, connect with leaders who do the things that you don't love, and just build a business that doesn't feel like I've got to be in like these roles that don't be anymore. That's really what's coming out for me.
Dude, I love it. Talk about building a business. So I've been sharing on the podcast and other places. So I have a director of operations who's just awesome. And I read this book. She recommended Steve Warner. Do you know Steve Warner?
Sounds familiar.
Steve emceed our last couple of events. Really cool guy.
Okay.
He was on the Marketers Cruise, if you've been on there. And he recommended a book called Rocket Fuel. And it explains the visionary's role and then the implementer's role. And Natalie and I have been just grinding a bit lately. I don't know, for me to let go of some of the stuff, but then also when it doesn't happen as fast or the way I want it, and she's doing what she's supposed to be doing, I'm having to learn to be a better implementer. Something I've been really working on too is I could see where my integrity's gotten a little slack in the last since before we had the baby, since my dog died, just some rough times. And then great with having the baby, also just a lot of distractions. So I haven't, like today, something I'm working on is cutting videos. We created an AI speech writing thing. It's called AI speech writing coach. It asks people just talk to ChatGPT. They literally talk to their phone, ask them questions, and it writes a badass speech for them.
Nice.
Yeah. So I'm cutting the videos to go along with it. And these were supposed to be done like a week ago. I'm still working. Some of it's hard, right? So I don't want to create that, and it's been my experience. So
I just created 4 videos yesterday, and I wanted to do it where I was trying some AI tools, and this tool, I was like reading the script, so obviously my eye is not looking into the camera, but this AI tool can make it so it looks like your eye is facing the camera. It's like it's called eye contact, and it's part of the script. So I was like, let me just do it like I'm reading, and then I'll have the AI make it look like I'm looking at the camera. Well, it's good, but it looks like I'm stoned the whole time. Like my eyes are so low. Like I don't think I can use these videos. My performance is on point, but like my eyes are killing it, dude. I'm like, it's not usable.
I just borrowed this from my new camera. We have an amazing camera guy now. I just borrowed this thing. It goes lens.
Wait, what is that?
It's a teleprompter thing. So you pop your phone in here and it holds your phone. I'll put on my phone so you can see it.
I need that right now.
It reflects what's on your phone into, what is this called? This is called Parrot Teleprompter. Here.
That's the name of the tool? I'm going to buy that today, dude, because this thing is
So you got to have like a good camera though, right? And then
on your phone. Yeah.
And then here's what it does. See? So it shows it backwards on your phone, and then it does it.
That's so reading. I remember buying this contraption like years ago where I had to like build it myself. It was like biggest joke.
Check this out. And for some reason, when it's on the lens, like, there's the words being reflected. Well, I can see the words in here.
Yeah.
When you put it over, it doesn't show. Isn't that cool?
That's great, man. I love it. I'm so glad I brought that.
For those of you at home, Parrot, if you'd like to sponsor the show, we'll get our affiliate link set up. All right, so let's talk about the promised land. Here's the point of this podcast, Sean, is I really want to empower coaches to make the difference they're meant to make. Our whys, we believe you have a God-given mission only you could do, and it can be fulfilled and funded through your business. And what we're moving to more in our company, we have Black Belt, which is how to do your 1-hour presentation and rock it out. What the company as a whole is moving to, though, is equipping coaches to get the right people and to lead them to what we call the promised land, like that ultimate good outcome of working with you, we call the promised land. And so we're focusing on 3 hours, three areas. It's magnetizing people to you, which is a combination of your messaging and your marketing vehicle. It's methodology, which is actually making a difference in their lives. And then it's mentorship, how to be the right mentor and how to pick the right mentor. So which of those are you most passionate about? Like which one of those calls to you or is like your real gifting as you talk about your gift?
So messaging.
It's magnetizing to you, the right methodology, and being the right mentor.
Definitely the third one.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. Really? To me, and the reason why is because it says being in it, right? I really am really clear that my gift, my talent is beingness. It's not doing this. It's not building this. Like I can teach systems. I've learned how to be really good at creating tools and things like that for my clients. And I think that all came from insecurity and wanting to be something I wasn't. So I built myself into this person who I believed was more valuable if I did those things. And at the source, who I am, and it goes back to like freestyle rapping, is like I'm a conduit. I am somebody who channels. And the more that I give myself permission to be that transformational person, where it's like, it's not the things I build that cause transformation, it's who I be, and it's the energy that I transmit, and it's me being in alignment with my transformation. It means that I can transmit that to my people. So I have to be careful how I treat my body and how I show up, because if I'm feeling depleted, then I have nothing to give. And I've seen that happen a lot. And I just think that that third one to me that's where I'm moving and where I'm stepping into in this phase.
Oh, that's awesome. So what do you do to make sure you're being, what do you say, authentic, the right person? How would you describe it?
To me, it's all about creating momentum, right? So we look at it like there's these momentum spirals, and in life, you're either spiraling down or spiraling towards like what you don't want, or you're spiraling up and spiraling towards what you do want. And it's never one. It's always only one or the other. It's never both. So you're either going backwards or you're going forwards. So what I find is that like when I've gotten into spaces, and just to be transparent, the event that I ran, it really depleted me. Like there was something about how I managed myself in that event that didn't work. So I went through a real dark night of the soul after that event, because I was super depleted. I felt like I'd given everything. I didn't have anything left to give. And I had client calls, and I was just trying to like get by. And then,
sorry, let me ask you a question. Are you talking about the live event you just did?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, the live event?
The live event, yeah.
Okay.
And so what I needed to do was get back to my practices, get back to health, get back to working out in the morning, like start my day on the right notes. Also get involved with some men's teams. My brother runs men's teams. He brought me into his team. And, you know, there was something about that, the support my brother gave me during that time, the support of this men's group that I'm in right now, and accountability to do the right things. You were talking about that earlier, right? So like, I'm just back on track with like the right inputs, getting back on track with listening to the right mentors, right? Yeah. Listening to the right people who are talking in a way that aligns me to what makes me feel alive and makes me feel strong. You know, I personally have felt like a lot of the stuff going on in America right now is a little challenging for me. There's things going on that, you know, I can look at and can collapse me internally. Like I whether it's not feeling safe or feeling concerned about the future or feeling concerned about how people are being treated, these things, you know, entered into my mind, and we become what we think about. And so I had to learn how to block all that stuff out again and get myself focused on my health and my strength. So that's now been, you know, 4 weeks since I really got back on the horse with that. And I just feel like it doesn't see the paradigm where I was sinking and collapsing. It feels like there's nothing I can do to create the success I want. Like no actions work. Like everything, I would call myself the cooler. You know, it's like everywhere I turn, nobody wants what I have. And this way of being, where I stepped into really like honoring my being in a place of strength and being in a place of power, I feel like there's nothing I can do that goes wrong. I feel like there's nothing I can do to turn off the right prospect. There's nothing I need to do in a way to stop the flow of leads and clients coming to me. Everything I say is coming from a base of alignment and truth. And so everything that comes back to me is good because I set this foundation up. And that to me makes my life work really well. It's like, it's not about what I'm being, it's not about what I'm doing. It's about who I'm being. And from there, like my business, my life, my relationships, it all starts flowing.
Dude, that's awesome.
Working.
That's interesting you said this. I just interviewed someone else for a podcast today, and they were talking a lot about their physical health. There's something that has shifted in the market, and I don't know if it's the biohacking or what, but you know, when we start, well, how long have you been doing this?
16 years almost.
16 years, yeah. I mean, 20 something years. And did you actually work for Anthony Robbins, or you went to a bunch of his stuff, or what?
No, I got trained by one of his primary proteges, this guy who built a whole program and trained people on Tony's technologies. And specifically, I spent a whole year like in a practicing of his strategic intervention process and getting feedback, working with clients and getting like scored on my skill level until I got to mastery. It was very rigorous, and it made me like, I've done like 1,000+ strategic interventions with clients. So it made me like really good at identifying patterns, transforming those patterns. And I'm bringing that back. Like I hadn't done it in a while. I just did it with a new client. It's like about a 90-minute session, sometimes 2 hours, but I'm bringing it back. I just had a client that moved forward with one of those sessions today. So it's one of my favorite things, but it's all transformation. It's like the real work.
That's awesome. Do you say who that coach was? I had one of my first mentors. I don't mention his name because he's very mixed. I'll say his name is sometimes, but he's got a very mixed reputation. So I know some people don't like to mention.
This guy doesn't have a mixed reputation. His name is Jeffrey Suey. He runs a program called, what's it called? Blanking, Master Coach University. And so, he's amazing because he worked with Tony for a long time. And so he came out of that with like rock solid, like skills and ability to train people. He was one of the best trainers in my entire career because he was less about making the money and the ego, and he was more about really helping people like at all costs.
That's beautiful. I love that. Who are some of the other people that you worked with? I mean, I read your bio. You said Brendan Burchard, Dean, Les Brown.
Yeah. So Brendan Burchard was a big influence. Bob Proctor was a major influence for me. Lisa Sasevich was very, very influential. I've worked with so many people. Sometimes I blank out on the top people. You know, there's Talkie Moore. I think he's amazing. So those are some of the ones. But from a mindset standpoint, I would say Bob Proctor is probably close to the top of that list. And back in the day, it used to be Wayne Dyer. It was like my favorite personal growth. Yeah.
So what I'm hearing in there is you have done a lot of training.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even remember it. It's so long, the list. It's overwhelming.
Right?
Yeah.
Man, me too. A lot of mine was Landmark. I mean, I started with getting Marshall Silver, and I've done a ton of
right?
Yeah. Brian Clemmer and Associates. I mean, I've done a ton of Anthony Robbins too. Just a ton. Interestingly enough, we have a guy, so we have an Airbnb here, and we have a guy came in town from Spain, and he's big in a network marketing company over there. He's also a physician, and he's been a big studier of Jim Rohn, which I thought it was really interesting.
That's
one of the OGs.
Definitely the OG.
That's so cool.
Tony Robbins' mentor.
Right? Like, yeah, he mentored Tony. So you do intervention. So are you bringing those back for one-on-one, or are you going to do them?
Yeah,
what?
I'll do it in group. I've done it in group several times. It's really built for, it's a long and in-depth process depending on like the person's willingness to kind of open up. Yeah, I love when I talk to people that are like, they just go to like the deep places first. But you know, most people, it's like layer. Okay, I think we finally found this thing. So it's a lengthy process, but to me, what I love the most about it is I think that it's really, when I look at who I am and what's made me who I am, and really one of the centerpieces of what's got me to this place in my life is the identity that I built through that process myself of identifying a version of me that was a powerhouse and being able to condition that version on a dime. And that's what I'm doing with my clients. I'm really saying, okay, we're gonna find the weakest part of you, the weakest identity, and then we're gonna flip it into the most empowering version of that. It's the same you, but it's getting your needs met from an empowered version of you versus a disempowered version. And then if we can help you condition that, so you do your rituals every day, your practices to get back into that version of you, then I feel like I'm doing something for somebody that's lifelong, that lasting impact. And it's not just about coaching where it's like, let me help you get clients and let me help you sell from stage. I love that stuff. But I think ultimately what I'm here to do is to create something where people are not the same person they were before they got a chance to work with me.
I love that. I feel the same way. You got to become someone new. So if someone's out there listening right now and they're like, what is the highest, best version of me? Who am I really? How do they find that out?
Well, I do a process. We could do it really quick. You want to do a quick version of it?
Sure.
All right. So the questions that we want to ask is, first of all, where are you at right now on a scale of 0 to 10 in terms of vibrancy and presence, right? And so you can give yourself a number. We don't have to do it full tilt right now, but this is the process in a nutshell, right? Like give yourself a number right now, okay? And then start asking yourself questions like, what am I grateful for? Who do I love in my life? What am I proud of, right? Start opening up, like focusing yourself in areas that start to move the needle. Then from there, I ask people to engage their body. So,
Sean, should we do it? Should we actually do it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the first question? I'll give myself like a 7, I think, right now.
Okay.
This is great. When I'm on stage, I'm like 9, 10. Other times,
Okay.
I think like a 7. My energy's dealing with some of the stuff I've been dealing with. It's just been kind of grinding on me lately. And yeah.
Great. So what I then do is encourage people to stand up. You don't have to, but physiology is so important, right? And I ask them to think of a time in which you were at a level 10, like you were mentioning the stage, right? So think of a time when you were on stage and you were just on fire. See that time in your mind, if you can, and take on the physiology of that version of you. Like, how did you stand, right? What was the look in your eyes? What was the look in your face, right? Like, what did you focus on at that point in time? What did you do with your body? How did you hold yourself, right? What did you believe about yourself? What did you believe about life? And see if you can take on that moment like it's happening right now, right? If you need to walk around, if you need to do whatever you need to do to kind of step into, okay, I remember that. Yeah, I was focused on, you know what? I am unstoppable. You know what? I felt like had my power in my center. Like I was alive. I was just feeling life. Like life was something that was literally in my hands to mold and I could create it. And how did you stand, right? And then I'll ask people to double it, make it twice as good, triple it, right? What do we need to do to rise this up to a point where you're just like, oh, where are you at right now on a scale of 0 to 10, right? Give yourself a new number, right? And then ask yourself, what would I need to do to get up another notch? Because every person is different. Some people need to put water on their face. Some people need to go and do push-ups. Some people need to do YMCA, right? Some people need to dance. Some people need to move, right? What do you need to do to get yourself in that zone, right? And so from there, you really rise into that place. And hopefully, if you do the work, and we can leave it there right now at that, you get to a level 10. And then the question is, how is that version of you?
That's loud when I do it. Like
So that's the answer is you can't answer who is my best self because it's a beingness. It's something that you know when you're there. So you can name that version of you, but the answer is actually through actually embodying it. That's my answer to that question.
So do you recommend, like, it's something I could see from just doing this is I have not, like, I know how to get to peak state when I'm speaking. I can see where I have not been tapping into peak state, or if anything, doing the opposite and running the company, or like begrudging and low energy and like victim conversation.
Good awareness.
So do you recommend going to that peak state for that stuff?
Yeah, of course, man. This is your life, right? Like you got to live your life in a place to see. I think the mistake is thinking, peak state sounds like it's a lot of work, and you think about raw, and it's like energy, right? But the thing is that, and this is where Brendan Burchard would always say, is like every time I walk in a room, anytime I see a doorway, it was a trigger for him to say, level up to a 10. Who do I want to be for these people right now? So, Brendan always talks about, every person you interact with, it really is important for you to bring that level 10 to that relationship. So in that way, whether it is, you feeling like you want to connect to your business, there's probably another level of bringing yourself into vibrancy and presence that's going to serve things, I assume.
Gotcha. Okay. Dude, that's awesome because I'm actually emceeing a wedding this weekend.
Oh, really?
Or the rehearsal dinner. Do you know what? Do you know Steve Larson and Marley?
Yeah. That's dope. That's this weekend. That's great.
Are you going to that? Are you coming?
No, but they're in Boise, right?
Yeah, we're sponsoring it. Never sponsored a wedding.
Oh, wow. Before. That's dope. That's a great gig, I bet.
Yeah, it's isn't that wild? So it's like with the sponsorship, I think I can say what I got in it. I just won't say how much, but we're sponsoring the MC for the rehearsal dinner. And so there should be a lot of ballers there. And ideally, actually, I need to reach out to start getting their names and stuff so I can introduce people appropriately. And then we're providing some paintings and stuff for them to auction to help raise money for charity. And then they're going to have an upsell during the wedding. And I can say this now because this podcast will come out after the wedding. And and it'll be $1,000, I think. And people get a mastermind with Russell Brunson and Steve and some other Stu McLaren. And then I get to be on the faculty for that. So that'll be good positioning for
Damn, that's
dollars. Yeah, some really cool people. And then, and by the way, thank you guys listening. These are the kind of conversations that I typically would have with Sean and other speakers. We just start talking about what's up in life. It's what opportunities are available. And that's why one of my favorite things about being a speaker is speakers hang out with speakers. That's like just how it works and how it flows. So, yeah. So then we've got, there's other stuff that comes with it too. Oh, we're going to use their studio and produce a book as well. So it's a really good sponsorship. It's kind of
that's great.
Him sponsoring a wedding, right? There's
but it's a marketing wedding, right?
Do you ever get nervous or insecure because there's a part of me is like, oh, I'm going to meet all these ballers.
Of course, I personally think that's part of the human experience. But I assume there's those kind of people that like, I never get nervous or anything. I never get insecure. It's like, come on.
So let's talk more about being the mentor. So what else, how do you pick a mentor? What do you look for to pick a mentor? What do you look for in a mentor?
I think there's a couple things for me. The first one is that I really feel something that lights me up about them. Like there's just this intuitive thing. Like when I first got connected to Peng Joon, who I've worked with a lot. I don't know if you ever heard of him, like watched his stuff, but he got off stage. He was in a Facebook ad and he was just like, he was just talking about how there's, YouTube and all these different social media channels are kind of the new version of media today, and he was like using an example of like Instagram is like, is like what TV used to be. And this is like that. And I just thought, I just like this guy. He's like cutting edge. He's on the speaker trick. He knows a lot about, social media. So just the energy, like I really feel like this guy represents the energy that I'm about, or this woman does. So there's an energetic thing. I felt the same way with Lisa Sasevich. I really admired her ability to create a really powerful business around speaking, but authenticity was at the source of it. And I felt that. Another mentor of mine, Jesse Corrin from Thrive Academy, when he was on stage, it was the first time that I realized that energy is real. Like I was like, energy was a concept to me before, and his energy from stage, I'm like, energy is actually a real thing. Like I could feel his energy. So for me personally, there's an energy where I get lit up when I'm in the presence of something. There's something I feel. And then the other thing that I look for is I'm trying to find mentors that have a lifestyle business that I want to emulate. I think one of the mistakes that I've made is to go for mentors that are, they have these results that I want, but when I look at what they're doing to create those results, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't want to work that hard. I don't want to hustle that hard. So nowadays I look a lot more at, okay, is that person living the kind of lifestyle that I want to have? Because I like business that is not all consuming. I like to be able to do my art. I like to be able to have my family and go on vacations. I don't want to be grinding all the time. So that's another piece of it to me. And then the other thing I would say is just that I'm looking for somebody who has a skill set that is just a missing piece for me. Like there's just these pieces of the business skill set that I need, or mindset skill set that I'm missing. And I just want to fill that gap. I want to figure that thing out.
That's awesome. I just heard someone say recently, never pick a mentor you wouldn't trade places with. And I was like, ooh, I like that. Or at least for that area of life where they're mentoring you.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, because there's a lot of people. I think my impression is it's gotten better in the last 5 years especially. But 10, 15 years ago, there's a lot of people who look great on stage behind the scenes, though. It was just a crack. Or it was just,
that's what I heard.
That super driven, nothing else matters lifestyle. And that just, who wants that kind of stuff? So,
yeah.
So how do you get people to you? Are you still doing the home stadium tours? Are you still teaching that?
Yeah, I'm still doing that. I'm still leveraging joint venture partners. I had a great webinar a couple of weeks ago. I've already gotten 3 clients from that. So that's just consistently produces. The other thing that I'm really good at is obviously speaking and getting on stages. And we've done a lot of speaking this year. So a lot of clients have come from that. But I just stay in touch with people. I'm pretty good about consistent outreach. And, I keep a list of people, and it's amazing how leveraged that is. It seems so unleveraged. It's like I got a list and you're calling people. But the reality is there's a lot of hot opportunities. If you put energy out the way you do and I do, I mean, there's people there that are just like kind of waiting for you to like remember them. And so you just send that like message, hey, it's been a while. And then hopefully, like I do, you have a workshop so that they can kind of like, it's kind of a double tap where it's like, I'm reaching out and then they like grab, like they jump on a live virtual workshop I'm doing. And it kind of like propels that desire forward. Mm-hmm. I've had a lot of people book lately who I just reached out to, followed up from my 3-day events, things like that. You know, those two things work really well. I don't get a ton of clients from social media. Like I said, I'm building out these Facebook ads. So speaking, my own events, and follow up has pretty much been the bulk of where opportunities have come my way.
It's shocking to me how many people won't pick up the phone and make a phone call. And when I don't do it, and then I do it, I'm like, wow, that was really easy. And look how much business we're making.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Something, you know, I think most people didn't learn that skill. It's one of those missing skills for people. Yeah, I did because early on, and I'm sure you did because we were in this before it was the internet. It's like, you know, it was like not knocking on doors per se, but it was just picking up the phone because that was what we had.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I tell people all the time, if you want to get on stage, the two best ways are rock the stage you're on because someone will come and say, "We be on my stage," and then the other is just be at a live event and rubbing elbows with people because then you meet the sponsors or the other speakers. And then once you get on stage at an in-person event, it opens all kinds of doors because then the other speakers want you. You get to meet them as friends. You get to meet in the green room. Speakers hang out with speakers. Sponsorships open so many. We just actually signed up for another couple of sponsorships that are in new circles for us, and I'm very excited about them.
Nice.
Yeah, I've had to share them with you offline if you want to talk about some of the stuff.
Yeah, that's dope. I love the new circles.
Yeah, because a lot of the circles we're in, Sean and I run a lot of the circles, and you see some of the same people event after event, event after event, and they've been like picked over, the poor people, and they've been sold to death, and it's just like,
right? I'd love to join your program, but I just was on Jase's mastermind, and I was also on Sarah's mastermind, Sarah's event, and it's like, all right,
yeah,
like okay, the dreading.
So what other tips do you have? Like real hardcore tips, speaking, sales, marketing, mindset, business success. Like what do you see working today?
So I think that joint ventures are untapped. I think that is kind of crazy to me. Like it's like for me, like I can't believe how like I came out of my 3-day event and I had earlier in the year set up enough joint ventures where I already had these in the pipeline. Like even this month, we have 2 people mailing for us because of something I did like 4 or 5 months ago. Right. And so I just have these set up and it's like, I didn't have a lot of energy. As I mentioned, I was coming out of my event. I was a bit depleted. And then I'm like, look, I've got this JV partner. And then I did that webinar that I did for you, which is about the group programs, how to launch a 5K group program. And boom, you know, like opportunity flowing in my world from literally feeling like I wasn't sure what was coming. And then it was like all because I had a joint venture partner. So I think that is a strategy that is unbelievably valuable. It's not easy. It's not perfect. It has its own challenges. But to me, that's something that I know will work if people will work it, but most people don't work it. The other thing to me is just, you know, being able to create a talk that's effective. You know, I just think there's nothing like, especially you and me, like the way that we're able to help people communicate. I feel like, you know, being able to communicate in a way that has the right ideal client self-select to want to book a call or want to move forward. That's just something that just works. Mm-hmm. I think that the thing I learned recently about that's really interesting, going back to energy and beingness, is that if I am not locked into my fire energy, it doesn't matter what I say from stage. It's not going to convert. I had a lot of speaking gigs this year leading up to my 3-day event. I spoke more than ever this year. I mean, I was on stage 2 or 3 times a month. I went to big events. I did a bunch of sponsorships, and I was a little confused because I wasn't getting the kind of response I normally do. And after I let it settle, I realized I was too beholden to the slides. I'd gotten into a rhythm where it was about do this, do this, do that. And I had forgotten the centerpiece of like the real, true, authentic energetics of what do I feel right now? Not what did I feel when I wrote this?
Yeah.
But what do I actually need to say right now I feel like that's the essence of how you can convert if you're speaking from stage that people don't talk about.
I love that. That is awesome. You triggered me to want to talk about something else. You know, we sold for selling into that live event that we did, the in-person one. My first stage did like 10% of the room, which I was really happy about, especially because we're moving them from virtual to in-person. But then the numbers kept going down, and then all the stages we were on had way fewer people than they promised. So we wound up having fewer people at the event than we expected. It wound up being a great event. And I know your pain, though, because I was like, why are my numbers going down? And I haven't yet figured out why my close rate went down. I'm not sure about that yet. I thought I would have got up to 20%, but moving people, I think, from virtual to in-person is a challenge. I think that takes something.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So...
yeah. And moving people from in-person is a bit of a challenge too, I found out, because, you know, people don't want to fly or they come up with some excuse last minute. I mean, like there was a lot of people who purchased a product that came with a ticket and they were pretty bought in. They started coming to the calls, but then as they committed and they verbally committed to my team like a couple days leading up to it. And then boom, 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 boom. This person's like, you know, because the riots were going on in LA. Oh, it's not even in LA. It's in San Diego. They're like, I don't want to be close to it. I'm like, do you understand the way that California is laid out? So people are like ready to come up with a reason why they won't leave their house. Like they're very COVID sort of like trained, you know, in my experience.
But we had someone who was on our team and they had a connecting flight. They live in Canada through the States. And they were so nervous when they got back to Canada. They're like, I'm so glad to be out of that totalitarian regime and about the States. Although I guess some Canadians have been stopped. So I guess it's happened to some people, but still, it's like, come on, they can't let that fear run you.
Yeah, you cannot.
Oh man, that's crazy. So what's one thing you wish you'd known when you were starting? Like if you were doing it over?
I think what I wish I had known is that I've got to build my leadership skills strong earlier. Like I've got to learn how to be better at hiring and bringing on team members, get better at the conversations around how much you pay people and, you know, the whole, because it's something that I didn't learn at that phase. And now I feel like I'm paying the price. Like it's one of those pieces where I need to leverage better. I need to bring people on. I need to have more people on my team. But there's a part of me because, you know, I'm so trained by the coaching space where it's like everything's like, you know, everybody's offer is like 10,000 or above. So it's like, how do you bring anybody on your team? It's going to like bankrupt me, you know, but it's not true. It's about being able to find the right people for the right roles and having a system. And, you know, I've learned enough to see that like, you know, people have a lot of, you know, support on their team, but, you know, they're outsourcing or whatever. So I feel like that's something that I really wish that I had dug into more and got stronger at leadership and bringing people on. Another thing that I would say is that I think there's a myth that it's all going to come. Like if you find this one magical funnel or this one magical thing, like there's just one thing that's going to make like even people on discovery calls, like when somebody's doing a discovery call for you, they're like, what do you think the thing is? Like, what's the thing, you know? And to me, I don't think that success is one thing. I think that it's actually a compound of things. It's an emergent property, you know, it's various things that come together to create it. And I think it's really was the case where I was thinking it was one thing, and then I like get myopic and I focus on the thing, and all these opportunities fall away because I'm not following up, because I'm not, you know, putting the energy out to JV partners. So there's a lot of things that we do and they work together, and that's what makes me successful. And I see my clients, they're just not doing enough like different things. It sounds weird because I don't want them to be split, but I do want them to have a variety of actions that they're taking. And so I feel like it's important to get out of like one thing's going to save me instead of realizing it's a variety of habits and things that actually equal success. And you got to get that rhythm going.
My gosh, so many thoughts about that. Yeah, I can see too. Something I discovered about myself in the last year. We were going to do $1 million event and then we were made. Whatever that meant. Like, I don't know if that meant I could quasi-retire or pay off my house and then slack, or I don't know what I thought it was going to be, something has shifted in me though in the last year. I really get it, and I'm not a fan of the word grind. I'm going to use it now though, just to describe the day to day. The grind is the way. The day to day is the way. I don't like the word grind, but the daily work. It's like,
yeah.
What I realize is we're not going to quit. We're not. And I think part of it was last year having the baby. I was wondering, should I just shut the business down for a year and hang out with the baby for a year? And part of me is like, I kind of wish I had because we went through a rough year. And part of me is like, we met some amazing clients now who I'm really close with that I just love, and they're right on the precipice of really turning things up. And what I realized though is, no, we're going to keep doing what we're doing, just bigger and better, no matter what the sales look like. And a big epiphany I had my last event. So we had our 3-day in-person event, and we did the offer day 2, and I don't know how many sales we had, whatever, say 3 or 4. And instead of being freaked out, I was just like, okay, if we just get 3 sales at 20,000, that's $60,000, and we spent probably about that much to run the event, put everything together, pay for all the sponsorships we paid for, all that. But I was like, okay, whatever, whatever, we're gonna be all right. And then by the time the whole event was over, we had 10 sales. We did right around 200,000. So but that was different for me though. Something really shifted in me. It's just like, we're going to keep going either way. So we're going to be okay either way. The money's going to flow either way. And now we're looking at some really big sponsorships, like next level stuff. How do you get yourself? Let me ask you this. How do you choose? What's your decision making matrix? And how do you choose what you're going to do next? Especially if it's like got a pucker factor to it.
Do next? What do you mean?
We're looking at a $30,000 sponsorship, or this other 15 one, or a package, or some other stuff like that. How do you make those choices and decisions?
Yeah, I generally do it because I have an event and I'm looking for the right audience and the right match. I'm trying to find, and I feel like I'm somewhat limited to the relationships I have, and so I have opportunities that come, and I'm choosing between 3 or 4 different opportunities, and it's really not a matrix. It's really not like some kind of overarching thing. I think I'm doing my best to make the best decision I can in the moment, and I think sometimes I'm wrong. I don't think that I have the best strategy of all time, and I've made some decisions. I had an opportunity where I think it could have gone a lot better. It was probably just me that wrecked it, but we had 200 people in the audience. I did not get anywhere near the conversions into my live event from that I thought I should. And so I don't know, but that audience was not really a match for my stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought I was bought into like, wow, I'm going to get in front of all these people. They have money, but I didn't actually think about their psychology and whether they were the right thing. And now I'm on this, like I've got, 4 hours before my talk, I'm watching presenter after presenter bomb, because they too didn't anticipate the audience and they weren't the right fit. And I'm saying to myself, I got to rewrite my entire talk to communicate to this audience. I'm spending time trying to rethink it while I'm there. Still bombed, still didn't do well. And at the end of the day, it really got me. It actually sent me into a bit of a spiral. But ultimately, I think that it was telling me that either I need to be very mindful about choosing the right audiences and make sure that is a non-negotiable, or I'm saying the wrong message. And I got to go cater to these other audiences, which, as much as that sounds crazy, there's a part of me that does sometimes think that my message could be wider and it could be more impactful. I don't have to just speak to coaches and entrepreneurs. I sometimes think that I'm built with a personal growth message that a wider audience could actually I could expand my reach by being less niched down. So that came up too.
Well, if you're doing the lower price point stuff, there's an opportunity for that, right?
Yeah. And that's actually something I want to do. I want to put together just a straight up personal growth program. And I'm thinking that maybe that's my membership. I haven't quite figured out either that's my membership, or I'm going to take all my speaking stuff and make that low cost and actually flip it and make my high ticket, the personal growth, since in my heart, I think that's the thing I'm actually here to do. So why would I undervalue it? So I'm a little uncertain. about those choices at the moment.
Yeah, and that's the question. Do you go low dollar and go wide, or do you keep it higher dollar and it'll work out? You'll probably, actually, I bet you wind up doing a combination of both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So, okay, we're winding up a couple more questions. What are you reading right now? Or what's been super influential to you recently?
So I am reading two things. One of them is the Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, Dr. Joe Dispenza. I'm enjoying it. I don't know. Have you read it?
No, I haven't. I think I have it in my Audible library, though.
I like the science approach to basically it's breaking down quantum physics and like how we create these habit patterns that we basically create the same results because we can't break out of those patterns. And so it's kind of the science of how to think differently and so that you can create different results. I really like it. The other thing that I'm reading is I'm going through this book called The Abundance Book, which is John Randolph Price, and it's a very small book, but there's this prosperity challenge and I'm doing it with my clients. So we're on today's day 21 and you read this statement, you get connected to a 10-minute meditation. So highly recommend The Abundance Book if you want to connect into money mindset stuff.
The Abundance Book. Who was the author again?
John Randolph Price. It's a green book. It's a great classic. Highly recommend it.
That's awesome. So any other great stories or anything that's on your heart to share?
Well, first of all, it's just really great to be with you. I really enjoyed our last time together. We were like at that hair salon in Boise hanging out. Remember, we had a great night that night. And, we had also gone to that place the day before with your entire group and got a chance to decompress with everybody at the spa or whatever it was. That was so nice. So I just love that connection that we have. And I'm grateful to see you again. I was like, I haven't talked to Jason forever. So that's really what's on my heart is just the opportunity to reconnect with you. And just overall for the people listening, I think that it's a spiritual and a transformational message at the source of this recording or this episode. I think that it's about really finding what it is that you love and trusting that you got to be in that space in order to create your results. I think that the idea that, results are strategy is 90%. Sorry, strategy is 10%. Mindset is 90%. I think it's the truest thing. I think that systems and, there's a lot of elements in that 10% of strategy. It's not to be taken lightly, the 10% that is strategy. But if you don't have the right mindset, if you're not coming from the right place, I personally think that it's really hard to create results because the universe is not in concert with you. So the opposite is like it flows and you're open to opportunities everywhere. And man, they just keep popping. So that's what I want for everybody.
Dude, that is awesome. So Sean, how can people find you?
Yeah, so just go to my website, rockyourgift.com. You can check out more about what we're doing, learn about our upcoming events, and that's pretty much the best place.
You guys, Sean is awesome. Sean, thanks for coming on, man. Love you, buddy. It's so good to see you.
Love you too. Great to see you.
So Sean and I are going to pop over to speakersgreenroom.com. It's the Speakers Green Room where speakers hang out. We're going to do a little behind the scenes, and then Sean has an amazing gift for members of the Speakers Green Room. So join us at speakersgreenroom.com. Thanks for joining me today on To the Promised Land podcast. If you're ready to grow your impact, master your message, and become the kind of speaker people can't ignore, head on over to our website, tothepromisedlandpodcast.com. That's where the real transformation begins. The links are all in the description.